So today I tried RJ's raspberry chocolate logs. This is a type of licorice, a bit of an impulse buy, but I always like to try a New Zealand candy. Now on the back, it says this. It's true what they say. You always want the next generation to have it better. RJ's remembers when licorice was so tough you could use it as a mouthguard. That's why we set out to craft the softest licorice the world had ever seen and wrap it around a delicious Choc center. Now young and old licorice lovers everywhere can't get enough of RJ's raspberry Choc logs. Kind of brings a tear to your eye, doesn't it? It's made in New Zealand. It's nut-free. It's a 3-pack I got. I've already tried a bit of one, so I can talk to you a bit about it. They're about this thick around. You can see the chocolate in the middle there. When you break it, you can't quite hear the snap, but you can feel the snap of the chocolate in there. See if you can, I'll pull out a whole one and you can definitely see when it snaps there. Yep, you see that. So I see these really as an affront to God and nature itself. They're one of the worst candies I've ever had, I think, in my entire life. Chocolate and licorice is something I never thought about before, and now that I've tried it, it'll probably haunt me for a number of years to come. It's pretty bad. The quality of both is fine, honestly. The chocolate, it's milk chocolate. The raspberry licorice is what drew my eye to this and what made me pick it up there at the end of the counter. I was excited for just a thick, chewy licorice. It feels dense because it is with the chocolate. But really, it was quite disappointing. I'll finish it, of course, because it's candy. However, I would not recommend anyone buys RJ's Raspberry Choc Logs. Now, that being said, I'll investigate. Perhaps there's a Raspberry Choc Log, which I have here. By that, I mean perhaps there's a Cherry Choc Log, which I think would be much more palatable, probably much more enjoyable. I also think, just in general, that the ratio isn't where it needs to be. It's a little bit different on this end. It's clear that they just slice it. So they make a big long one and they just slice it up a couple times. I think if there was less chocolate and more licorice, this would be a bit better. And they talk about how licorice was too tough in the past, but I think this is almost too gooey. It loses some of that pull that licorice has and that bite that licorice has. And it feels much more kind of like a gummy worm. Which of course is a good product, but not what you're looking for when it comes to a licorice log. So I think those would be the main changes I would make. I'd say make the licorice a bit denser, lessen the amount of chocolate in the ratio between the chocolate and the licorice, and then my third recommendation would be to never make it again, because it is pretty bad. When I took my first bite, I didn't know that it had chocolate in it, so you can just imagine the shock, pain, confusion, and fear that swept over me when I felt something hard in the middle of my licorice and when that hardness turned out to be chocolate. So that is RJ's Raspberry Choc Log, the 3-pack at Countdown. Very bad, very bad. I look forward to trying another one.